Fantasy Island was directed by Jeff Wadlow and stars Lucy Hale, Maggie Q, Michael Pena, Michael Rooker, and quite a bit of other people, and is a horror reimagining of the old television show Fantasy Island. And this film follows a group of people who have won a contest that grants them access to Fantasy Island, a place that allows them to live their deepest fantasies. Some of them want revenge on a childhood bully, some of them have deep regrets about their past, and they hope that they can fix it while they're on this trip, but things get really dark when things get really real for them. I feel like all I really have to say is that this is from the exact same writing and directing team and lead star of Truth or Dare. They got together and made another movie, and it's possibly worse. Fantasy Island is an unintentionally hilarious excuse for a horror movie that feels more like a whimsical comedy most of the time. You can see every scare coming from a mile away. It's people backing up slowly, the camera waiting for them to turn around so they can pan to something that's behind them. It's the sound going out of the mix and you know a jump scare is about to happen, and none of them are effective. It also has a lot of really cringeworthy attempts at humor. You could hear a pin drop in my theater, which was packed for Valentine's Day, by the way. Whenever someone tried to make a joke, none of it worked. Every decision in this movie, I outright hated. I saw this film with a friend of mine, and we often found ourselves looking at each other throughout the course of this movie in complete shock. This feels less than a first draft. I'm not exactly sure how this was greenlit. I am genuinely mind-boggled at the dialogue. Every scene is like somebody explaining their entire lives to you. It's a constant series of twists and reveals, and none of them are shocking. And every time one of them happens, the person has to turn around and basically look at the audience and explain everything to us like we're fucking children with drool hanging out of our mouths. By the end of this movie, I kind of felt like I was a child with drool hanging out of my mouth. And I'm not going for hyperbole here, I really mean it. This movie is like nothing but explaining. Like every single choice that's made in the plot is just a long series of explanations, as if we couldn't figure things out on our own. There is not an ounce of subtlety or mystery in this movie. The only thing left to imagination in this movie is how in the hell it got made in this state, and how it attracted these actors. Michael Peña is woefully miscast as the evil orchestrator of events on this island. He is really bad in the movie. Everyone's pretty bad in the movie. Maggie Q, I would say, is pretty much the only actor that comes out of this not looking pretty terrible. She did an okay job, but her storyline is so pointless. For most of the movie, her storyline is about regret, and she gets that opportunity again and spends a large portion of this movie just lounging around on a beach with a daughter she always wished she had, and her new husband that she wished she had accepted that proposal back in the day. So there'd be like these really horrific sequences where Lucy Hale's character is getting revenge on a childhood bully. And then one of them wants to be a soldier, so he's like off in a battle somewhere. And then we just cut back to Maggie Q on a beach. And the tone is so off and so jarring that you never really feel like you're watching a horror film or a fantasy movie or a comedy. Let's talk about comedy. There's these two characters who are like hyper bros, and they make constant, seemingly never-ending pop culture references. I was actually getting anxiety in the theater. It was really bothering me. Like they find a panic room, and he's like, "Whoa, it's like we're in a Jodie Foster movie." Then they walk into an armory and see a bunch of guns, and he goes, "Yippee-ki, yes!" Guys, you don't know, okay? You just don't fucking know. This movie made me sort of realize something about myself, and maybe I always knew it, but I think I get more offended by the idea that someone has the opportunity to make something cool and just squanders it than your typical run-of-the-mill not-so-great movie. Fantasy Island could be a really fucking cool movie. And I think I get more mad when I see opportunities like that wasted, handed to somebody whose last movie was Truth or Dare, literally the same team, somehow failed upwards to make this, which is somehow worse just on a bigger scale, so it's even more embarrassing. Without spoiling it, it also features one of the most nonsensical plot twists I've seen. that makes you question everything you've just watched, even though the movie's obsessed with explaining all of its twists to you. Like it's afraid you won't understand. Even with all of that explaining baggage, the twist still doesn't make any goddamn sense. Fantasy Island is an embarrassment of a movie. It has barely anything recommendable about it. I hated it. I'm going to give Fantasy Island an F. I would strongly recommend seeing anything else besides this. Truly do not waste your time. It is not worth your money. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching. Look forward to more reviews very soon. And if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.